Happy World 5FM Radio, your contemporary radio station in Zambia, connecting you to the newsmakers and events that make news in the global village.
Good evening. This is the 5FM Radio Main News. The headlines. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security calls for positive work culture. Preparations intensify for the upcoming Pan-African Youth Adaptation Forum. And Trump's sweeping new tariffs take effect against dozens of countries. This bulletin is live on our Facebook page, 5FM Radio Zambia, and YouTube channel, 5FM Radio Zambia. With the details, my name is Lance Sannie. The Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has clarified the concerns recently raised by Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, regarding the procurement process for biometric voter registration BVR equipment and software intended for use in the upcoming general elections scheduled for next year. Speaking at a media briefing held this afternoon, Chief Electoral Officer Brown Kasaro has assured the public that the Commission adhered to the proper procurement procedures in the acquisition process of the BVR systems. He emphasized that all necessary legal and procedure and value for money. In response to the allegations made by suggesting serious irregularities in the ongoing procurement exercise, Mr. Kasaro dismissed the claims as unfounded and inaccurate. He stated that the assertions made do not reflect the actual process undertaken by the Commission. Mr. Kasaro further revealed that the Commission is open to continued dialogue and will actively engage with Transparency International Zambia in the spirit of transparency and collaboration. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security Permanent Secretary has highlighted the urgent need to improve the country's productivity, noting that Zambia currently ranks 160th out of 180 countries in this area. Zakaria Luhanga made the remarks today while officiating at the stakeholders validation meeting for the National Employment and Labor Market Policy and National Productivity Policy. Mr. Luhanga stated that this low global ranking can be improved by fostering a positive work culture. He emphasized that the documents under review are strategic instruments essential for achieving the country's desired economic and development outcomes.
Have 2 points our commitment to transforming Zambia's labor market and unlocking the country's productivity as a pathway to inclusive, sustainable development. Today's meeting represents more than a routine step in policy development. It is for us as partners and practitioners to reflect critically on how we can jointly shape Zambia's labor market and productivity landscape to drive inclusive and sustainable development.
A delegation from the Global Center on Adaptation GCA has paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Education Douglas Yagalima as preparations intensify for the upcoming Pan-African Youth Adaptation Forum scheduled for August 8 and 9 at the University of Zambia Unza Great Eastern Campus. During the meeting, Mr. Yagalima emphasized government's unwavering commitment to the education for all policy, underscoring the role of the school systems as a vital social control mechanism and a key enabler in climate resilience strategies. Mr. Siagalima disclosed that pupils are actively engaged in tree planting activities as part of the country's effort to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change as evidenced by the 2023-24 drought. He further reaffirmed Zambia's belief that Africa must leverage its own solutions to climate challenges, emphasizing that the continent no longer suffers from brain drain but has shifted towards brain sharing.
Yes, they have. They do infrastructure. Do you know why we say that? There were 4 million children in school. Now there are 6 million. That is excluding up If we include everybody into university, about 7 million. What it tells is that in the next 5 years, there will be about 10 million children in school. Or even double. Even double. That is that. Yes, Zambia's population is 20 million. So you can imagine half of the country will be in school. It tells you that half of this country is young. So how do we prepare these young people in the next or to fit in the 21st century?
In response, Adriana Valenzuela, Youth Leadership and Education Lead at GCA, praised the Zambian government for prioritizing climate change topics within its education sector. The delegation also included Ms. Ruth Nawakwi, Executive Director of Inclusive Education for Sustainable Development, IESD, who reaffirmed her organization's commitment to promoting youth participation in climate adaptation initiatives. She highlighted IESD's drive to champion inclusive engagement and heard in the pursuit of climate resilience. The opposition party Zambia Must Prosper has expressed concern over the Anti-Corruption Commission's ACC recent clearance of Mr. Mashio Muchende in connection with corruption-related allegations. According to the party, this development, given Mr. Muchende's close family ties to the Republican president, raises serious questions for the Zambian public about the integrity and impartiality of law enforcement institutions. Zambia Must Prosper leader Kelvin Waliafube stated that in a country like the United States of America, where accountability and transparency are cornerstones of public service, any such case, especially one involving individuals linked to the head of state, would be handled with the highest level of openness. He noted that the public would not be expected to rely on mere statements of clearance. Rather, detailed findings would be published to allow for independent scrutiny. Mr. Walia has therefore challenged the ICC to release the full report of its investigation into Mr. Mochende's case. And in other news trending this evening, the government of the Republic of Zambia has formally mandated ZCCMIH to take the lead in formalizing, developing, and transforming the goods sector in Zambia. The Lusaka City Council LCC has directed door shop owners within the Central Business District and across the city to paint their shops in order to enhance the aesthetic appeal of the urban environment. Up next, the business news.
News, we mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry. Local, global. It's our business to keep you informed.
The Zambia Consumer Association (ZACA) has expressed concern over the reported shortage of diesel in several parts of the country. ZACA Executive Secretary Juba Sakala notes that diesel is a critical component in the country's socio-economic framework, particularly in transportation, agriculture, construction, mining, and manufacturing. He says it is also vital for the mobility of human capital, enabling consumers, workers, traders, and service providers to reach their. Mr. Sakala says any disruption in its availability threatens to significantly slow down economic activity and compromise livelihoods. He says the association understands that fuel, particularly diesel, plays a central role rather in the delivery and distribution of goods and services across Zambia. He says transporters, public service vehicles, haulage trucks, and generators all rely on diesel. Mr. Sakala says the current shortage risks triggering delays in supply chains, rising transport costs, increased commodity prices, and reduced productivity, all of which will be borne by the final consumer. He has since called on the government to put in place long-term measures to ensure fuel security and prevent recurring supply disruptions. Mr. Sakala says these include strategic reserves, diversification of supply routes, promotion of local fuel storage facilities, and greater transparency in procurement and distribution processes. Ends the business news.
Time for business news. We mean business. Keep you current in commerce, trade, and industry. Local and global. It's our business to keep you informed about business.
And in news from across our borders, United States President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs on more than 90 countries around the world have come into effect. Just before the deadline for deals to be agreed to cut to avoid the import taxes, Trump posted on his Truth Social platform that billions of dollars were now flowing into the US due to tariffs. Earlier, the president hit India with a 50% tariff, which will take effect on 27th August unless it stops buying Russian oil. Trump also threatened a 100% tariff on foreign-made computer chips as he pushes tech firms to invest in the US. And in sports news, Tottenham midfielder James Maddison has suffered an anterior cruciate ligament injury and is expected to miss the majority of the forthcoming season. Sources have told BBC Sports that Maddison is said to have surgery and will become a long-term absentee as he starts his recovery program. The 28-year-old suffered the injury in the preseason draw against Newcastle in South Korea last weekend. And now, the weather.
Plot 17100 off Katanga, 150 meters from Main Chimika Industrial Area, Lusaka.
The evening is mainly clear, windy at times, and mild to cool. Ends our weather report.
Plot 17100 off Katanga, 150 meters from Main Chimika Industrial Area, Lusaka.
That weather item brings us to the end of the news. But before we go, a recap of the stories that made headlines. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security Permanent Secretary has highlighted the urgent need to improve the country's productivity, noting that Zambia currently ranks 160 out of 180 countries in this area. A delegation from the Global Center on Adaptation has paid a courtesy call on the Minister of Education, Douglas Yagalima, as preparations intensify for the upcoming Pan-African Youth Adaptation Forum scheduled for August 8 and 9 at the University of Zambia Great Eastern Campus. And finally, United States President Donald Trump's sweeping new tariffs on more than 90 countries around the world have come into effect. For more news, follow us on Facebook and YouTube, 5FM Radio Zambia. On behalf of the entire news crew and the technical department, thank you for listening to the Happy World of 5FM. Stay safe and stay tuned to 5FM Radio. My name is Lance Sannie. Enjoy the rest of the evening.